Welcome along to our first edition of an exciting new series that we're starting here at Sorted Stone called Under the Stone. And this is where we like pull back the veil, look under the stone at some of our exciting team members and just learn that little bit more about them. Maybe some things that you didn't know about them, maybe some things you didn't want to know about them, but we're going to share a whole bunch of stuff. And on the spot for us, for our very first episode in this series is the wonderful Rhona Potts from our Perth office, looking after all things HR. Hi, Rhona.
Hi, Tony. Thanks for having me.
So firstly, let's share with the folks watching this today, what's your career path highlights? That keeping it very general, because I'm sure you've had a lot of career highlights in your past, but what are some of the career highlights you would like to share with us before you came on board with us here at Sorted Stone?
Yeah, great question. Career highlights, I would say probably the best thing I think I've ever done in any role that I've fulfilled in the HR space is a previous company I worked for. I set up a paid parental leave program from scratch. So we didn't have anything at all when I started there. And I really got to see firsthand how that impacted people's lives. I got to see people going out on parental leave and then coming back and having that support. And that's definitely a career highlight for me.
Second question, our rapid fire questions. What podcasts or YouTube channels deliver the most value to you?
Controversial call, but I am not a YouTube person.
Shock horror.
I don't have the attention span to watch a video from start to finish, which might have made me a bad first choice for this series. I do love podcasts though. So mental health and just general well-being is something I'm really interested in, both on a personal level and then also thinking through how we apply some of those same principles at an organizational level. So I listen to lots of podcasts in that space and parenting stuff. I'm a mum of two, as I think you know, Tony. So I'm often listening to something related to that.
I'm getting a theme there, which is good. Like obviously being in HR, it's such a big beast of a subject to look after, but it's work-life balance, this holistic look at stuff. Yeah. It sounds like that's the kind of information you like to bring across, rather than the traditional. I don't know if there was a podcast called HR Weekly or something like that. Certainly not something that for your appetite. I think one of the things we rely on a lot nowadays is technology to help do some of that heavy lifting for you. So what sort of tech stack or technology can't you live without?
So we've got Bamboo HR here, which I think most people will have seen, but the interface that we see as an employee is mainly around logging time off for our team, for the people and culture team. It's a source of truth for all of our people data. So I couldn't live without Bamboo HR. That's where everything lives. Tiny Pulse is really valuable to me at the moment, especially with this big focus on engagement. So I'm really reliant on the data that we get out of that and how we're using that platform. Slack. Love Slack. Definitely couldn't live without it either.
So next question for you. If you could ask one question to 100 of your peers in the agency world, what question would you ask them?
I think the biggest thing that's on my mind right now that I would love to more deeply understand from peers in the agency world is what lessons have they learned in shaping this new world of work where we're balancing some remote teams, some hybrid teams, and how do we not replicate, because I don't believe that you can, but how do we create a new normal? Like, how do we create that sense of connectedness and cohesion that we don't organically have through water cooler chats, for lack of a better term? So I know lots of people are doing great things in this space, but yeah, I'd love to learn more about what people have done here that's worked, what they've tried that's tanked, because I think that's a real opportunity area for Salted Stone.
Now, mentioned technology before, so let's talk about that word data or data, depending on what part of the world you come from. If you could access some kind of data, forget about how you could do it, what would be that data that you could get your hands on that would be really useful for you?
You didn't specify this had to be work related, so hit me with those lottery numbers, Tony. That is actually.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
That's all I'm after.
That just solves everything, doesn't it? Okay, so lottery numbers is the data that you would like. But we couldn't make that data available to everybody. Otherwise, you'd be winning like $1 or $2 because there'd be so many winners.
Yeah, I didn't ask for it for everybody. I asked
for okay, just for you. Personalized data. That's what you're after. Okay, next one for you. What's a commonly held belief about your role that you passionately disagree with?
Gosh, there's so many. I touched on before the sentiment that HR people don't care about data or analytics, which is rubbish, because good HR people do care about that stuff. It should formulate the base of anything we do. That HR are the fun police. I'm pretty sure you've told me that before, Tony. I vehemently disagree with being the fun police. So I'm going to go out on a limb and rate myself as a pretty fun person.
Yeah.
But there's one more. There's one more that actually I think is the most important. I think there is a misconception that HR work can be fluffy or frivolous, or that we organize social events only. And don't get me wrong, social events are great and we should absolutely play a role in that space. But I actually think HR underpins the success of any good business, because the business is only as good as the people that work here. So you need a team of HR people, or people and culture people who really care about that, who understand and I guess push for the fact that engaged and happy employees, one, is the right thing to do. We want people to feel that way when they come to work, but two, is also really good for business. So yeah, I think HR people play a pivotal role in that.
Yeah, cool. And I think you're a fun person, Rhona. I don't think you're the fun police. So the big question is, like, everyone's here to help each other. And I think that's, the most important part of, so how can the team, the wider team, that's the global team, anybody watching this today, how could we better support you in your role?
Get involved. So I'll be sharing regular updates on what we're doing in the engagement space. And our people and culture team is comprised of me and Ursula, right? We can't do everything. So we would love your help when we put a call out for ideas for a particular initiative. Like, jump in and give us your ideas so that we can start to bring those to life. We'll need working groups and the culture committee to actually execute on some of the ideas that you or we come up with. So yeah, get involved in that as well. So that would be my biggest ask across the business is I can't shift the culture alone. That needs to be a team effort. I can't drive engagement alone. Engagement is something that every single one of us own and choose when we show up to work every day.
We live in this crazy always on world. There's so much pressures going on right now. We've been through that 2 years of pandemic, which completely turned the world upside down. What is one piece of advice that you would share with folks on how to cope with the pressures of today?
I thought a lot about this, just in general. And do you know the most sage advice I've been given, I think, ever in my career was very recently, and by Brandon. And I'm not just saying that because it's Brandon. I am saying it as a test to see if Brandon watches this. But the advice Brandon gave me, which is stuck, is be 100. Whatever it is you're doing, be 100% in it. So if you are with your kids or your parents or your friends or whatever it is that you do outside of work to fill your cup, be 100 in that. When you are at work and you are deciding where you're going to focus your attention, choose that, focus on it, be 100 in it. And I just love that. I think, to your point, Tony, in this world where constant pings on phones, the turnaround time that's expected on a message or on Slack or on email or whatever is no longer this infinite, you get back to people when you get back to them. It's that instant response is expected, and it's easy to get sucked into that world of permanently being on. So yeah, I love that B100 philosophy.
Yeah, good one, Brandon. Hopefully you are watching, because that was a great little piece of advice, and obviously that's stuck with Rhona. Rhona, it's been great learning a little bit more about you under the stone. One of our amazing people here at the Sorted Stone group is Rhona Potts. Thanks for sharing with us some of those insights. And please, if you haven't already reached out to Rhona, Rhona is the HR queen. So she is responsible for each and every one of you across the world. So please reach out, say hi to Rhona. I'm sure she will find a little part in her day just to say hi back to you, and get involved in the culture committee and anything else that HR is doing from an initiative. But Rhona, thanks so much for joining us for Under the Stone.
Thanks, Tony. I won't swear, although I do.
You're a HR lady. You can't swear.
Well, I am definitely the most potty mouth HR lady there ever has been. I grew up on a farm, Tony. You can't beat it out.
All right. You can take the girl out the farm, but you can't take the farm out the girl.
Hang on, let me turn Slack off. Otherwise, I'm going to quit Slack. I've quit my email already. My kids are gone. The father of my children.
Oh, what have you done with them? What have you done? You've sold your kids.
Yes.